Small in size but huge in value, today, we're exploring the fascinating world of rare US dimes that collectors can't stop hunting for. These tiny coins hold surprising stories and hidden treasures that could be worth far more than you think. Stick around and let's uncover the secrets behind these valuable dimes together. What if I told you that one of the rarest coins in today's market could be something as simple as a dime? That's right, the kind of coin most people toss into a tip jar, forget in a car console, or leave sitting at the bottom of a change drawer. But among millions of ordinary dimes minted in 1972, there exists one that stands far above the rest, not because it looks different, but because of how perfectly it was made, and how well it has been preserved. Our first coin today is the 1972 Roosevelt dime, and while this date might seem common at first glance, one particular example has drawn serious attention from collectors, for good reason. Now, let's go back to 1972. The Roosevelt dime had already been in circulation for over 25 years. It was first introduced in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his work with the March of Dimes campaign. The design by John R. Sinek features a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse, and on the reverse, a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. That year, the United States Mint struck Roosevelt dimes at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities for general circulation, and at San Francisco for proof sets. In total, hundreds of millions of these coins were produced. That makes most 1972 dimes extremely common, even today. If you check your spare change, there's a good chance you might come across one, but what makes this story different is not the coin itself, but the condition in which it was found. Among all those millions, only a very small number were ever struck with such clarity, precision, and quality that they would be considered nearly flawless. Fewer still were preserved carefully enough to retain their condition over decades. We're not just talking about nice-looking coins, we're talking about dimes that show no signs of wear, no handling marks, no scratches, and were struck perfectly from fresh dies. That combination is extremely rare. Over time, most coins, even those never used, get small imperfections simply from the minting process or from being stored in bags and rolls. Contact with other coins can cause tiny marks. Exposure to moisture or improper storage can cause toning or damage. So, when a coin from 1972 is found in pristine condition, it gets attention, especially from grading companies and serious collectors. In the case of this particular dime, it was submitted to a top-tier grading service and received one of the highest grades possible, a condition that places it at the very top of the population for this date. Not only does it show no signs of circulation, but it also displays full strike details, sharp edges, and original mint luster. That means it's not just rare, it's exceptional. What adds to the appeal is the fact that no major errors or varieties are associated with the 1972 Roosevelt dime, making perfect condition examples even more valuable. Unlike error coins that gain value from flaws, this coin gains value from precision, from being exactly what the US Mint intended, but preserved in a way that almost no other examples were. Some collectors spend years searching for a coin like this, not because of a visible error or an exotic feature, but because it's the single best survivor of its kind. And when a coin reaches that level, it becomes a priority for those assembling high-grade sets or chasing registry rankings. It's not just about owning a coin, it's about owning the coin. Now let's talk about rarity in real numbers. Out of the hundreds of millions of dimes struck in 1972, only a very small number have been graded at the highest mint state levels. And among those, only one or two may exhibit the kind of perfection that places them at the absolute top. That level of rarity doesn't just make it desirable, it makes it a key piece for collectors who specialize in high-grade modern coins, especially those assembling registry sets where owning the best example is the ultimate goal. When this coin was offered at auction, collectors knew what they were looking at. This wasn't just a clean dime, it was potentially the finest known 1972 Roosevelt dime in existence. And when coins like this come up for sale, the competition can get intense, because opportunities to own something this rare don't come often. Eventually, after expert evaluation, market research, and competitive bidding, this dime sold for $94,000. Quietly, without any exaggeration, it became one of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever sold, a massive result for a coin that originally cost just 10 cents to produce. This sale highlights something important in the world of coin collecting. It's not always about age, metal content, or rarity in mintage numbers. Sometimes, it's about condition. A coin like this, ordinary in every other way, becomes extraordinary because it has survived for over 50 years in near-perfect form. And that's what makes it special. So if you ever come across a 1972 Roosevelt dime that looks unusually sharp, clean, and well-struck, it might be worth a closer look. While chances are it's just a regular coin worth face value, there's always the rare possibility that it could be something more. And that wraps up our first coin of today's video. A simple dime, with a not-so-simple price tag, quietly proving that even the smallest coins can carry big stories, and even bigger value. Stay with us, we've got more remarkable finds and surprising coins coming up. And now, let's move on to something that might surprise even seasoned collectors, our second coin of the day. From a distance, it looks like any other dime. Same size, same silver gray tone, same Roosevelt portrait that's been on the coin since 1946. It's small, light, and most of us wouldn't think twice about spending it or tossing it into a coin jar. But this dime, this particular coin, is a quiet outlier. A sleeper. A rare gem that hides in plain sight. This is the 1991 D1 dime, and it holds a secret most people never notice, a secret that has turned this tiny 10-cent coin into a high-value collectible worth thousands. Let's back up for a moment. Dimes have been part of American life for over 2 centuries. They're the smallest coin by size and thickness in U.S. circulation, and as a result, they're often overlooked. They come and go from our pockets without a second glance. But for collectors, the dime is one of the most challenging coins to study. Why? Because its compact size means that even the slightest variation, a weak strike, die wear, or minting error, can completely change how it's valued. Now, let's focus on this specific coin, the 1991 D. Roosevelt dime. It was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the most productive mints in the country. That year, the Denver facility struck over 1.2 billion dimes, yes, billion with a B. So on the surface, nothing about this coin screams rarity. It wasn't low mintage. It wasn't part of a special release. It didn't have any major design changes that year, but what happened next is what separates this coin from the rest. Somewhere during that high-speed production process, something very subtle, and very rare, occurred. A small group of 1991 D dimes were struck using slightly misaligned or deteriorated dies. These dies, the hardened metal stamps that press the design into blank coins, occasionally wear down or shift ever so slightly. When that happens, the resulting coins can have soft lettering, distorted text, or inconsistent relief. On this particular dime, collectors noticed unusual characteristics, weak impressions on the words, "1 dime," possible doubling in the letters, and faint or shifted elements that suggest an abnormal strike. It's not the kind of glaring error that jumps off the coin. It's the kind of difference you'd only notice if you were trained to look for it. But once it was spotted, it created a buzz among error coin collectors, because very few examples like this exist. Still, an oddity alone doesn't make a coin valuable. What pushes this one into another league is its exceptional condition. This 1991 D dime wasn't just unusual, it was also preserved almost perfectly. No scratches. No fingerprints. No wear on the high points. The surfaces remained smooth and original, with a full mint luster and sharp, clean edges. That's nearly impossible to find with coins that weren't specially made for collectors. Most circulation coins, especially ones from the early 90s, were never expected to survive in this kind of pristine state. So here we have the perfect storm, a coin with an unexpected die anomaly combined with near-perfect condition, and that's a rare pairing. Usually, error coins show wear because they circulate before anyone notices the difference. And coins in mint state often don't have minting flaws. But this coin breaks that rule. It's a high-grade example of a dime that simply shouldn't exist in this form. To give some perspective, modern coins, even with billions produced, can skyrocket in value when these two things align, rarity and perfection. And that's exactly what we're looking at here. Most people have never even thought to check their 1991 dimes. But in the world of serious collectors and registry set builders, coins like this are golden, not in metal, but in value. Now you might be wondering, how many of these 1991 D-dime anomalies exist? The answer? Almost none. Only a handful have ever been authenticated with these characteristics and this level of condition. Some experts believe fewer than 5 examples are known to exist in this quality, and some even speculate that this coin could be the only one preserved in such flawless shape with these exact features. This isn't the type of coin you find in proof sets or mint sets. It wasn't made as a collectible or sold to collectors. It was made for everyday use, intended to circulate, get worn down, tossed around, forgotten. But instead, it survived, untouched, unnoticed, and quietly holding a unique era that sets it apart. And that's why collectors are willing to pay serious money to own it. This exact 1991 D-dime, with its subtle strike anomaly and mint state preservation, has been valued at $65,000. No exaggeration. No hype. Just a modern coin, pulled out of everyday circulation, that turned out to be something incredibly special. And this is a reminder of something every coin collector understands deeply: value doesn't always come from what's old or obvious. Sometimes, value comes from the things most people overlook. Coins like this prove that with the right knowledge, and a bit of luck, a 10-cent coin can be worth more than some people make in a year. So the next time you empty your pockets or count your change, don't be too quick to pass over the dimes. Look closely. Inspect the details. Check the lettering. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. Up next is a coin that, at first glance, looks like something you've seen 100 times before: small, silver-colored, with Roosevelt's profile on one side and the torch design on the back. But this particular dime? It's anything but ordinary. This is the 2004 P. Roosevelt dime, and it's one of the most fascinating modern errors to ever leave the Philadelphia Mint, a coin that quietly slipped through machines, inspections, and packaging with a minting flaw so rare, it turned a 10-cent piece into a serious collector's item. Let's start with the basics. In 2004, the U.S. Mint wasn't producing any special editions of the dime. There were no commemoratives, no silver sets, no low mintage surprises. It was just business as usual, billions of coins rolling off the press to meet everyday demand. The Roosevelt dime had already been in circulation for nearly 6 decades, and the design hadn't changed in years, but in that massive sea of perfect production, something went wrong. And not just any kind of wrong, a striking error that would only be noticed by someone who really knows what to look for. This coin was found with what's known in the numismatic world as a missing clad layer error. To understand that, it helps to know how modern coins are made. Dimes minted after 1965 are clad coins, made from a copper core sandwiched between 2 outer layers of copper nickel. These layers are bonded together under high pressure before the coin is struck. When everything goes right, the result is the standard, silver-color dime we all recognize, but in this case, something went wrong during the preparation of the blank. One of the outer layers, usually the nickel alloy, was completely missing. That meant when the coin was struck, it didn't have its typical shiny finish. Instead, it appeared dull, coppery, and just off. Now here's where things get even more interesting. On this specific coin, the error didn't affect both sides. The obverse, front, of the coin with Roosevelt's face looked normal, while the reverse, back, with the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, was struck on exposed copper. That kind of one-sided clad layer error is incredibly rare. Most errors of this type affect both sides of the coin evenly, but in this case, the split in materials created a coin with 2 very different faces. One side shines like a typical dime, the other side looks brownish-red and unfinished. To the untrained eye, this coin might even look damaged. But in reality, it's a certified mint error, and a very valuable one. What makes this error so special isn't just the minting mistake. It's the condition in which the coin was found. Despite being struck incorrectly, this dime somehow avoided circulation. It didn't end up in someone's change, it wasn't carried around in pockets or spent at a vending machine. It was preserved almost immediately, likely pulled aside by someone who noticed something odd, even if they didn't understand exactly what it was. Because of that, the coin remains in mint state. The fields are clean, the strike is sharp, and the surfaces show no signs of wear. That kind of condition, paired with a rare minting error, is what drives up value dramatically. But there's another layer to this story, one that caught the attention of error coin specialists. Some examples of the 2004 P. Roosevelt dime weren't just missing a clad layer, they were struck on the wrong planchet entirely. That means the blank disc used may have been intended for a foreign coin, or may have been left over from a discontinued production run. These planchets can have different compositions, sizes, or weights, and when they're used accidentally at the US Mint, the resulting coins are truly one of a kind. In this case, the weight of the error coin didn't match the standard 2.27 grams of a normal dime, adding further proof that something unusual happened during production. When a coin has both a wrong metal composition and a flawless strike with no post-mint damage, it becomes a major target for collectors. Only a very small number of these error dimes from 2004 have ever been found. Fewer still exist in top condition. And among those, only one or two are known with this exact two-tone appearance, normal on one side, and missing clad on the other. That kind of rarity isn't just interesting, it's valuable. So what's a coin like this worth? This very dime, a modern US coin from the year 2004, has been valued at $53,000. All because of a factory mistake, perfect preservation, and the sharp eyes of someone who knew they were looking at something special. It's a powerful reminder of what's possible in the world of coin collecting. You don't need to search for gold coins from the 1800s or ultra-rare silver dollars to find value. Sometimes, the most valuable pieces are modern coins, coins you could still find in circulation today, as long as you know what to look for. So don't overlook modern dimes. Flip them over. Check the color. Feel the surface. You never know when you might come across an unexpected error, one that could be worth thousands. Now let's explore a coin that might seem completely ordinary at first glance, but could actually be hiding some interesting secrets beneath its familiar surface. This is the 2015 P. Roosevelt dime, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and a coin that often flies under the radar. You see, modern dimes like this are everywhere. They're handed out at stores, found in change jars, and scattered in pocket lint. But while most people see them as everyday currency, collectors look a little closer, and sometimes find something extraordinary. The 2015 P dime, with its classic Roosevelt design and the Philadelphia P mint mark, represents continuity in American coinage. The design hasn't changed in decades, and this coin is part of a massive production run numbering in the billions. So what makes some of these coins worth paying attention to? It comes down to three key factors: rarity, condition, and the presence of errors or anomalies. Even in this modern era of computerized minting and strict quality control, errors still happen. The machines that strike these coins run at incredible speeds, producing thousands of coins per minute. And occasionally, a coin slips through with a mistake that makes it stand out to collectors. For the 2015 P dime, some of the most common errors found include off-center strikes. That's when the design isn't perfectly aligned on the planchet, causing part of the design to be cut off or shifted. These errors can range from subtle to quite dramatic, but either way, they're always interesting because they show something went wrong during production. Another type of error is the die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint ghost-like impressions of one side's design on the other. Collectors love these because they're visual evidence of the coin-making process itself. Then there are weak strikes, where details like Roosevelt's face or the inscriptions might look faint or incomplete. This usually happens when the dies are worn or the press pressure isn't sufficient, resulting in a coin that looks less crisp than usual. Additionally, some 2015 P dimes have been found with double die errors, where doubling of letters or numbers occurs due to misalignment during the die-making process. These subtle, yet fascinating errors often require magnification to spot but add tremendous value to those lucky enough to find them. But errors alone don't guarantee value. Condition plays a huge role. Many error coins that make it into circulation get worn down, scratched, or damaged, reducing their worth dramatically. However, if a 2015 P dime with one of these errors is found in mint state condition, that is, with no wear, scratches, or loss of luster, it suddenly becomes much more appealing to collectors. Why? Because a coin in mint state shows what the coin originally looked like when it left the mint. It's a snapshot in time, preserved perfectly. And when paired with an error or rarity, it's a double bonus for those looking to build a top-tier collection. There's also another subtle point: the sheer number of coins minted doesn't always tell the whole story. While billions of 2015 P dimes exist, the number with certain errors, combined with exceptional condition, can be astonishingly low. That rarity within a large mintage can make the coin much more sought after than you might expect. In fact, many collectors focus heavily on modern error coins because they represent a unique crossover between everyday money and collectible rarity. These coins were never intended to be rare or valuable, they were meant for circulation. But when an error occurs, and a coin remains uncirculated, it's like finding a hidden treasure. It's also worth mentioning that modern coins like this can be easier to authenticate than older coins. With advanced grading technology and detailed databases, collectors can quickly verify if a coin's error is genuine or just post-mint damage. This transparency has boosted interest in modern error coins even more. Moreover, with online marketplaces and collector forums, information about these errors spreads quickly, making it easier for collectors to spot potential gems in their everyday change. This has increased awareness and demand for rare 2015 P dime errors in excellent condition. One more factor boosting interest is the growing community of modern coin collectors, who appreciate the fascinating stories behind these errors and the challenge of finding coins that differ from the norm. This enthusiasm ensures that even recent coins like the 2015 P dime continue to hold a special place in collections. Additionally, these coins serve as a reminder that even in today's highly mechanized minting environment, the human element can never be fully eliminated, which is part of what makes error coins so captivating to collectors. So if you ever come across a 2015 P dime that looks different, maybe the design is slightly off, maybe the coin shows unusual coloring or faint doubling, or maybe the lettering isn't quite right, it's worth holding on to. Don't spend it. Keep it safe. Get it authenticated if you can. This coin could be more valuable than it seems. The takeaway: age doesn't always determine value. Even modern coins can be rare and collectible, especially when errors and perfect preservation come together. So next time you're sorting through your change, give those dimes a second look. You might just have something special in your hands. In the last part of today's video, we take a closer look at a more recent coin that has caught the attention of collectors, the 2018 Roosevelt dime with a notable error. At first glance, it might look like any dime you'd find in your pocket, but this coin holds a special place due to an unusual mistake made during its production. The 2018 dime was minted in Denver and features the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front. Like many modern dimes, it's part of a massive production run intended for everyday use. With millions minted each year, the expectation is that these coins are all uniform and flawless. However, as with any high-volume manufacturing process, errors can and do occur, which is exactly what makes some of these coins so interesting to collectors. One of the most intriguing errors seen on this dime is a misstrike, where the coin's design is noticeably off-center or shifted, sometimes dramatically. This happens when the blank planchet isn't properly centered within the coin press before the dies strike. The result is a coin with part of its design missing or pushed off to one side, creating a striking visual anomaly. These misstrikes can vary in severity, with some showing only slight off-centering while others have nearly half of the design missing. Collectors prize these misstrikes because no two are exactly alike, making each error coin uniquely fascinating. Another notable error found on certain 2018 D dimes is the presence of die cracks, tiny raised lines or fractures on the coin's surface caused by cracks developing in the die used to strike the coins. Over time, the dies wear down and can develop cracks, and when coins are struck using these cracked dies, the cracks transfer onto the coins themselves. While subtle, these die cracks add character to the coin and can sometimes significantly increase its value, especially when the cracks are prominent and clearly visible to the naked eye. Beyond misstrikes and die cracks, collectors have also spotted double strikes or slight doubling of features on the 2018 D dime. These doubling errors occur when the coin passes through the press more than once, resulting in duplicated images or text on the coin's surface. This error is particularly fascinating because it represents a rare mechanical glitch and creates a coin that looks unlike any other from the same minting batch. What sets these error coins apart is not just their mistakes, but their condition. Given that these coins were minted recently, many can be found in exceptional, uncirculated condition with their original mint luster still intact. This pristine condition significantly increases their desirability among collectors. A mint state error coin from 2018 is far more valuable than one that has been heavily circulated or damaged, as it offers a clearer and more detailed glimpse into the minting mishap. Collectors are drawn to these coins not only for their rarity but also for the stories they tell about the minting process. Each error coin is like a tiny piece of history that offers a window into the mechanical challenges of producing billions of coins each year. These imperfections remind us that even the most advanced minting technology can't completely eliminate human or mechanical error. Though these 2018 D Roosevelt dimes aren't as old as many classic coins, their scarcity and the excitement generated by error varieties have steadily increased their popularity in the collecting world. This growing interest also reflects a shift in the hobby, where modern coins are gaining attention for their unique quirks rather than just their age. If you're someone who enjoys inspecting your coins closely, you might just find one of these rare error dimes among your everyday change. Finding such a coin can be thrilling, and with proper authentication and care, it could turn into a valuable asset in your collection. If you come across a 2018 D Roosevelt dime that appears off, whether it's misaligned, shows unusual raised lines, doubled features, or any other abnormalities, it's worth holding on to. Having the coin professionally evaluated can confirm its authenticity and help determine its true value. Speaking of value, this particular 2018 D Roosevelt dime with error can be worth around $21,000, depending on the exact nature of the error and its condition. This is quite remarkable for a coin that's so recent, proving that modern error coins can still command impressive prices in the collector's market. That brings us to the end of today's exploration of some of the rarest and most interesting Roosevelt dimes. Each coin we've looked at shows us that even the smallest flaws and anomalies can lead to something truly special. These dimes highlight the fascinating intersection of history, craftsmanship, and chance. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, always keep an eye out for those little differences that could signal something rare. After all, one small detail can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure. If you found this video informative and want to keep discovering more about rare coins, errors, and hidden treasures in everyday change, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We regularly dive into unique coins and share valuable tips to help you spot your own rare finds. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're the first to know when we post new videos. Thanks so much for watching and joining us on this coin collecting journey. We look forward to seeing you in the next video where we'll uncover more stories behind the coins that often go unnoticed.